Hey guys, welcome. Matt McGregor here. I'm so pleased today to bring you this walkthrough tutorial of Float, the latest indicator from AlphanumetriX. In today's walkthrough tutorial, we're going to go through how to set up the indicator and how to best use it to identify great risk reward trades and how to manage trades once they're entered. So without any further ado, let's get straight into Float, the latest indicator from AlphanumetriX. Before we go any further, I would just like to bring to your attention this PowerPoint presentation, which will be pinned in the Telegram group, and it's also available on the website. It's a brief overview of Float and what it can be used for, its features, and also a few examples. It's there for your reference at any time. Okay, let's dive on in. So, this is what the charts look like, obviously with no indicators put on them. Once you've been granted access, you'll come to the indicators section up the top here. You'll come down to invite only scripts. You'll turn on Float, and there you have it. This box here will appear in the top of your screen on the top right hand side, but there'll be nothing entered into it as it is right now. There's two ways to add all the information to Float. You can double click on the box here, or you can come over to the settings and come through here in the settings area. So let's have a look at it. So this is the box that'll appear. This is where you enter all the commands for Float. So first of all, just for ease of viewing, I'm going to change the size of the box to large, just for this demonstration. Now there's all different sizes that you can choose between tiny to huge. There's no reason to have it on huge. It's just there as a function that you need. The tiny mode is really useful because when you're viewing it on your mobile phone device, the box can be in the way. So by having it on tiny, it's the best way to view it on your mobile phone. But for today's demonstration, we're going to have it on large. So let's go through all the different features and all the different settings that can be applied to Float. So let's have a look at the price right now. We're at 48,800. Let's just say we want to enter a trade right now and we're going to view it in real time. So initial capital, that's the amount of money that you want in the trade before leverage is applied. So for the sake of the song, let's just say we have $100,000 that we want to apply in this trade. We're going to spot buy right now at 48,817, 48,817. Now, this is the leverage section. If you're trading the stock market or if you're spot buying, you will turn the leverage off and you will just have it on 1 to 1. But for the sake of this demonstration, we're going to be in a 5x leverage trade. The commission maker and commission taker are so you can tune I had to use a bit of a broad stroke when this was designed. So the liquidation price is going to be marginally off accurate. So if you're in $1 million trade, it might be out by $200, for example, because it doesn't account for what your exchange, commission maker and taker fees that they charge. If you go and research what they are, you can tune it to exactly accurate, but it's only going to be marginally off. So really, you don't have to focus too much on that. Remember, this is not set as an API to your exchange. This is merely an indicator to guide you in your trading and to manage trades. And trust me, it's going to be very, very near to the price without any commission maker or commission takers put into it. So let's move on. So we'll leave that blank for now. This select buy or sell trade. Buy is the same as a long, sell is the same as a short. So you can see when I flip this, it'll change it to sell here. That's shorting the market. That's longing the market. Stop loss. Let's say I want to apply a 10% stop loss. Remember, that's 10% after leverage has been applied. Okay, so down here, we've got this button right here, which is probably one of the most important buttons on the entire Float indicator. It's called naked. So when you view, there's two ways to view Float. There's on naked mode, which just gives you the lines of each position that you've put in, or you can go naked, take the naked mode off and have the full color scheme. Let's go with the full color scheme for now, and we can take that off later when we introduce other indicators over the top. The ROI is a function that's an absolutely sensational function. It's right here. That's the return on investment in terms of the asset that you're trading. So if we're trading Bitcoin, This trade right now is 0.02 Bitcoin in profit. But when you're trading in the stock market or you're not using perpetuals or futures, that feature is not necessary. So it's able to be turned off. All the color scheme and everything is through here. You can totally customize all the colors that you want. I'm not going to run through that because it's self-explanatory, but every single feature is fully customizable. The visibility section is something that I urge you really not to play with, because that's just the tuning of the times to make it accurate. So that can be left right alone. So we've got this hypothetical trade in right now, $100,000 of capital before leverage has been applied. We've entered the price at 48,817 on a 5x leverage trade with naked mode switched off. Let's have a look at what float looks like now with all the features punched in. Okay, zooming out a little bit. So this line right here, the gold area here is 100% return on the investment that you've made. The blue line right here is where you're enter the trade. There's your stop loss. There's your liquidation price. That's float, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll go into more detail later on to show you how to really use this to identify great entries and how to manage positions throughout. But this simple little indicator right here is going to be the most useful tool for managing positions. All right, now that we've entered the mock trade into the system, we're going to run through the box. This is going to be a fantastic feature that you're going to become really familiar with. So let's run through it from top to bottom. Trade status, buy. It's a long position from this blue line right here. Profit and loss after leverage. So in this trade, in this mock trade, we are minus 3.21% of our initial capital after leverage has been applied. Unrealized P&L, which is minus $3,429. Now remember, that's in USD. If you look up here, you'll see USD. You can change that to any currency that you want. But think about if you're looking at the Australian stock market, you'll notice, you might not have ever noticed before, but that would say AUD there. If you're looking at the Japanese market, it'll say Japanese yen here. The US market, it'll say USD. So all of these figures that are in here will correspond with whatever's in that box. So if we're minus 3,230, that's US dollars. Entry price, obviously 48,817. Leverage, 5%, 5x leverage. Capital after leverage, the $100,000 of capital that we had in this trade with 5x leverage is $500,000. Quantity is 10.24 Bitcoin are in this trade right now. The take profit, we have nothing entered right now because we have entered no take profit into this trade. If we were starting to move up into profit, I would then apply, I would kill the stop loss and I would revert to a take profit in this trade. Our stop loss, which is this red line right here, which we had set at 10%, is now 47,840. And then our liquidation price is at 40,680, which is down here at this red line. The rate of return on investment in this current mock trade is minus 0.0672 Bitcoin on this trade. Now let's say we use float to potentially look at what a trade would look like without having entered it. That's one of the best ways to use float, is to use it to mock trade or to run simulations on trades to see how these would have gone. I mean, this little trade that we entered a few minutes ago is minus $3,000. So let's say, no, we're not satisfied with that trade anymore. We want the exact same information plugged into it, but we want it on, first of all, we'll put it on naked mode and we'll send it to a short position. So let's see. By amending anything that you amend in the settings will instantly amend it on the charts. So now it's exactly the same as it was in inverse. Here is your liquidation point. Here is your stop loss. Here is your entry price. And you've noticed that all of these have now flipped to a positive trade. The only difference you'll notice here, it says sell. I want to bring your attention to the the P&L after leverage. Okay, so it says that we're in a positive 3.51% on this trade. The beauty of float is that that's the distance from the blue line entered to here. Now you'll notice that it's only 0.77 in this trade. but you times that by 5 to get to 3.2. That's what float is. It's a calculator. It calculates all those leverage positions for you. The same goes for your stop loss and liquidation point. So we're in a 5x trade. So we said we'll take profit at 10%. Well, there you have it. It's at 2. 2% a move in Bitcoin times 5 equals a 10%, which is the stop loss that we wanted to have in place there at 49,000. You can use float to place these positions so you're managing trades as they go, or you can use it to run simulations. Okay, so now let's go through another example of how to use float to try and gauge the risk reward on a trade. And because what's a risk and reward? It's, for me as a futures trader, as a leverage trader, my risk reward is not really where I enter, it's where I'm out of the trade. What would a stop loss look like? What does liquidation look like? Sometimes I'll use a small amount of money and liquidation is my stop loss. And other times I won't set a stop loss, or other times I have to really think about where to place a stop loss or where my liquidation point is. It's a lot of work to try and assess how risky is the trade. So as Bitcoin on the weekly time frame was crashing last week, we can use float to gauge that before even entering the position. So let's just say we wanted to buy off the 50 EMA, okay, which is at 44,500. So let's enter this, okay? So at 44,500, we had $100,000 of initial capital before the trade, and I wanted to put a 10x trade on. Well, what would that look like? That doesn't look safe at all. Okay, that looks like you're about to lose a lot of money. Okay, so obviously that's not a safe bet. So we can go in and go, well, what does a 2x trade look like? That is starting to look like a reasonable trade to be in. And as we bounce and come up, you can add more to the position and all of these things will be amended. But this is how you can use float to really gauge how to find a good risk and reward position. Okay, let's say we're sick of this trade now. It's as simple as coming into the settings here by double clicking here, coming down to default and going reset. There you have it. It's completely reset to all the default settings. That's what I will do to, if I close the trade off or I finished, or if I want to do something else. There's one fault to TradingView as it is, that we can't save these settings specific for this stock unless you open multiple pages up the top here. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is just jot down your information, jot down where you entered the trade, jot down how much capital you had in the position before leverage. So then when you want to flick to the Australian stock market, for example, and you've bought your trade in AEF, you can come over. It won't carry over all that information that you stored in the previous trade. You can just simply re-enter it. So we want to enter in the stock market, this position. I'll put this on large. Initial capital. This is a trade that I'm still currently in, and I remember specifically because I've got it all written down here. I was in a $10,000 trade. I entered at $4.70. I had no leverage on the position. I had it was a buy. I had no stop loss or take profit in place. I don't need the ROI on because it's not a futures trade. So there you have it. You can see this trade in real time right now. I'm 165% up on this trade, unrealized profit of 16,500. All the information's right here. It's as clear as anything to view. Because I'm in the stock market here and I'm in a spot position, you'll see that the liquidation point is at 0. Okay, now that you have a good understanding of how to operate float and how to enter commands, I'm going to introduce another indicator to show you how seamlessly they can go together and how well they complement each other. This is AlphanumetriX, another indicator from AlphanumetriX. So this is Bitcoin on the daily time frame. You'll notice here that there's no trade entered at the moment. So we're looking at Bitcoin right now. We had a take profit area here. We got out of the trade here. The wave turned red and we're no longer in any long positions. We've raised cash. So yesterday we had a green diamond. Let's just say we wanted to buy on that green diamond, even though it's inside a red wave. we want to test the waters here and we want to put on a small, relatively small trade. So let's open up float. Let's say we wanted to put a $10,000 of initial capital in. The price that we entered was back here off the green diamond at 47,700. We were in a 5x trade with a stop loss of 10%. Now, notice that we're on naked mode. When I'm trading with AlphanumetriX or other indicators, I don't want to see the color scheme. It's completely in the way. That's its own thing. While I'm trading with other indicators, I'll have it on naked mode. Now have a look. It's not obstructing your trade at all. It's giving you all the pertinent information that you need for the trade right here, and you're clearly able to see this. So we got into the trade here, we came down, we didn't get stopped out, now we're back in. We were in 6% profit after leverage, we're in $685 worth of USD profit, and we're in 0.014 Bitcoin in this trade. Great, so now that's enough for us. We're gonna take the stop loss off and put a break-even trade on. There we are. We're happy to sit in this trade as it is right now. All right, guys, as our final walkthrough tonight, I'm going to put on a hypothetical trade with the benefit of hindsight. Using the replay function, we're going to go back to October or September of 2021. So let's enter a realistic trade that could have been placed at that time. $10,000 of initial equity. The entry price is going to be 41,000 US dollars. The 10x leverage in this trade with a stop loss of initial stop loss of 20%. It's a long position. Now let's see how this plays out. Everything's set up here, ready to go. So let's go through using AlphanumetriX as well to guide this trade. We're buying inside the green wave on the daily time frame. All right, Bitcoin's recovering. Bang, we've had the bullish cross. The indicators are crossing over on the daily time frame. We're looking good in this trade. So let's see how we've gone so far. So our profit and loss after leverage at the moment in terms of percentage is 176% return from our initial $10,000 of capital invested in this trade, because it's after leverage here. Our unrealized profit is 17,636. And I want to draw your attention down here to the feature I've saved right to the end to include. It's the rate, the calculated rate of return on investment in terms of the equity that you're currently trading. So right now we're trading Bitcoin. So we have had 0.36566 Bitcoin if I was of unrealized profit in this trade as it stands right now. So let's look, how would we trade this? We've got the bullish cross. All systems look very good, but we've come up here and we've touched on and we've held and we haven't broken through this top here. So let's keep moving in this trade and see how it goes. All right, things are looking great here. We've broken this whole structure of the whole market is going bullish here. So what are we looking like now? Well, we've got a 350% return on this trade so far. We've got a rate of return of 0.63 Bitcoin. We got to take something off this table here. So we come in here. Our stop loss of 20% is now completely redundant. We're going to go the other way with it. We want to take at least 20%. That's not even nearly close. We can look up here. Our profit, 300% take profit. So if we're going to put this line in here, if we come back and touch here, we're going to take 50% of this trade off the table. Let's keep it rolling. Oh, we didn't touch it. So let's keep rolling. No, didn't touch it, didn't break it. We're still in this trade, 100% in this trade. Still haven't touched it yet. Let's keep rolling through. All right, now we're at 500% return on initial capital in this trade. So we're gonna have to take something off this. I'm gonna put this at 450. We're moving our take profit up to here. So let's carry on in this trade. Oh, we're still 100% in this trade. Still looking good. But now I'm going to move this up to 500%. I'm going to sell 50% of this position. If we hit 500%, I want out of this trade. Bang. So the trade has now been cut in half. Bang, watch it all adjust. We've taken a lot of profit out of this trade already. We've taken 0.4 Bitcoin out almost, but we're still 50% in this trade and we're happy to keep rolling with it. Okay, we've just had the bearish cross, okay? So now we're not feeling very good in this trade anymore, but we want to take another 50% out of this trade. Keep a little bit still in because, you know, we're still overall the market structure is looking pretty good, but on the daily time frame, it's starting to look a bit scary. So we'll just keep this trade rolling on. We've had a great success so far. Oh, it's starting to look bad. The waves turn red. I'm no longer interested in being in this trade. Finally, we'll close it completely out. On that hypothetical trade there, we made 0.8 or something Bitcoin return just using this using AlphanumetriX to read the whole market structure really well and using float to manage the position really well. There you have it. That's AlphanumetriX and float working beautifully in tandem to have made a wonderful hypothetical return on that investment in a 10x trade. That's all I wanted to show you. All right, we're winding up the show now. So thank you so much for staying with us to this point. Guys, just before we sign off for tonight, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring to your attention this fantastic referral program that we have here on AlphanumetriX.com. If you scroll down the page, you'll see this referral program. And if you click the link, you fill out your details here. We're actually offering a 20% sales commission for any person that you recommend either AlphanumetriX or float to. That's $20 US for float, $70 US for AlphanumetriX, and a combined $90 US for anybody that you just refer. We really love these indicators. We think they're fantastic and it can really help you and benefit you. So it's a great reward back to you for sharing it with your friends. Shameless plug, I know. I hope you don't mind. Thank you so much. All right, guys. That's the end of it, the walkthrough tutorial. I hope that you've got a lot out of it. I hope you fully understand how to use float. If you still have questions, feel free to reach out to either me or my brother at any time at alphanumetrics.com, alphanumetrics.gmail@gmail.com, or jump on the Telegram group that we've got going. Share your thoughts, interact with other traders in the community. It's a great way to keep in touch and learn new ideas and new techniques. I'll be in there myself. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Anyway, that's it. We think float's a fantastic indicator. It's a fantastic tool to help you manage positions, and I hope you get the most out of it. Once again, Matt McGregor signing off from AlphanumetriX. Thank you so much for your support.